Backstory delves into the myths of gun control. What is fact and what is fiction? You hear so much now from the TV talkers. Let's take a look at what is and what isn't. Guns for hunting should only be allowed, or the Second Amendment was for hunters only. The Second Amendment, for good reason, makes no reference to hunting or sport. Yes, those are obviously fine uses of firearms, and they clearly allow hunters and competitive shooters to develop and maintain their skills. But they are not the reason for the amendment. The Constitution recognizes our God given right to defend ourselves from those who would forcibly take our liberties from us. One of the biggest myths you hear on TV is that gun rights advocates are only made up of racist hillbillies that just hate blacks. This is totally false. Gun control laws were liberally used during the Jim Crow era. An oppressor liked nothing more than for the oppressed to be defenseless. The three essential boxes of liberty cited by Douglas, the ballot box, the jury box, and the ammo box, were specifically targeted by Jim Crow proponents. Poll taxes were used to keep blacks from voting. All white juries were used to keep blacks from having fair trials, and gun control laws were used to keep blacks from protecting themselves from violence, much of it race-based. In 1941, a Supreme Court justice even noted in an opinion that one of the state's Jim Crow-era gun control laws even thought it was written in so-called race-neutral language was never intended to be applied to the white population, and in practice was never been so applied. Sadly, many courts throughout the South agreed and regularly rubber-stamped laws intended to disarm law-abiding African Americans. Now let's take a look at a video from Nation of Truth, a group dedicated to preserving liberties, including gun control.
You have people like myself that like to see the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and Declaration of Independence upheld. You have military that are active duty. You have veterans. You have gun owners, farmers, anyone who feels like pro-life and guns are they go hand in hand, I guess. Um, but this is about banning ammo. The ATF recently banned an ammo that was a green tip rifle hunting ammo. And to me, if you can ban and go after a certain type of ammo, you can pretty much take the entire thing with it. And the premise of it is, if you have a gun, what good is it without ammo, basically? So if you look through history, you have Hitler that took the guns when he was in Germany. You have Stalin in Russia who took the guns from the people, and then you have Mao who did the same thing through government. That's exactly what it is, and it feels like history is about to repeat itself again, which is something I'm not for. But in the Bible, it does say that history will be done and done again. So you can see where that's going. Also, you have George Soros, who openly admitted and bragged that he spent 33 or gave $33 million to what happened in Ferguson, that the whole thing that started the Ferguson riots and the protesters came out there and everything that essentially started race riots and all of that. You have George Soros, you can look him up. Definitely just type it in Google. Alex Jones. Well, basically, you can go to Infowars.com and type that in, and you'll find it. You'll definitely find it. Also, last year, Christmas Day, December 24th, you had Obama sign a UN guns law treaty that basically enabled them to take away our right to bear arms, our guns. And there were about 30 some plus senators that sent Obama letters, threatening letters to impeach him, but he still signed it anyway. What does that tell you? Obama is not for the rights of the people. But this whole thing got started, and now it's out of control. And the whole riots and everything are meant to bring us to war, bring us to a civil war in this country, which it looks like it's going toward because you have police going against the citizens, being militarized by the government to fight against the citizens, and the citizens lash back out at them and go against the police. So you have killings that are happening every day, and which is nonsense. We need to all come together. And then they also talked about how they need to ban ammo because they are cop killers. Now, I have a problem with that because anything can be a cop killer. A gun essentially, because you have the ammo. But when you look at that, how ridiculous is it? Because a hammer can be a cop killer. A toilet unhinged can be a cop killer. A knife could be a cop killer. My fist can be a cop killer. A shoelace can be a cop killer. Anything that has blunt force can be a cop killer. And this is all about control. They want to be able to control the rights of the people. They want to be able to regulate everything and anything that we do. And I urge people to, speak out about this. Speak to your senators about this, congressmen, get them to wake up. I mean, they obviously are either scared or being paid off. But if we come at this on a local and national level to get out there and make this known, this can stop. So, I mean, obviously they want to turn this into a civil war. Look at Fast and Furious when Obama was caught giving guns, a massive amount of guns, to the Mexican drug owners. That was another big deal. So we're looking at this. We're looking down the gun of a barrel when it comes to the government, and we don't need it. We really don't need it. So I urge everybody to get out there and just talk to your people, talk to your friends, your family, let them know what's going on, because obviously a lot of them aren't really in the state of mind to really try to do their own research. They might, but then again, they might be looking for somebody who does know and who's willing to teach them so they can get off on the right foot. But that's it for now, and let's just get out there and make this happen.
Less guns mean less crime. Totally false. Stats show over and over that criminals go to gun-free zones and prefer soft targets. Chicago and DC have some of the strictest gun laws anywhere, but also have the most crime. Obviously, people like our friend Charlie Manson here would avoid the lines at a Walmart and just pay a friendly drug and gun dealer, which are everywhere these days. Why bother with a background check? Here's one of my favorites. We don't need the Bill of Rights and Constitution anymore. That was over 200 years ago. Yes, but history sadly repeats itself over and over again. And the Founding Fathers studied history and governments. And unlike the political class we have today, they knew exactly what they were doing. Yeah, our government sent 30,000 guns to Mexican drug lords. Let's not forget that simple fact.